a couple of minutes.
All right, Amanda, this cold weather means we've been bundling up to keep warm, but have you been protecting your plants? Joining us live now over Zoom is Dr. Brian Brown from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Dr. Brown, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live.
Thank you for having me.
I've seen a lot of people, my neighbors included, covering their plants during the latest freeze, but do we need to be doing more to protect our plants?
Yeah, one of the biggest things right now is plants, compared to last year's freeze, plants had time to acclimate, so they kind of got used to the cold weather. Last year's freeze, we had in 2022, December, we had a really, really hard freeze. So that really was a big detriment to a lot of different plants. Since the plants had time to acclimate, we probably won't get as much damage as we did last year. So the things you really want to watch out for are things that have buds on them, so really tender buds, flower blooms, anything like that. Especially as we get closer to springtime, that's when you really want to start paying attention to what's budded out, and we want to take precautions to protect those plants.
What plants do we need to be covering, and what plants can survive a freeze?
Well, that's a good question. There's a huge variety of plants. The things you really want to protect, again, are the ones that have blooms on them, or things that have new tender foliage that's about to come out. And one of the biggest things you want to do is water. And water is so important that it holds a lot of energy. So if you can water your plant before the freeze, that's very, very important. You can also cover them. Try not to use plastic covers. Use a cloth cover. You can use an old bed sheet, go to the thrift store and buy an old sheet, or also you can go to the retail garden center or farm supply store and get you a row cover, and those will help protect your plants. But make sure they go to the ground and make sure your plants are watered.
Are there certain plants, if possible, that we just need to bring indoors altogether?
Yeah, if you have a citrus plant, those are, if you don't have a citrus indoors right now, they probably got some damage on them. But any type of really tropical type foliage, those need to come in if they're movable. If you can't move them, group them in a group together as much as you can and then cover them.
What do you mean when you say group them? How did they do that appropriately?
So if you can move the pots together and kind of group the pots that the plants are in together, that's a good way to help give them a little bit fighting chance.
Where else can people find all of these tips, and what else do you want people to know?
We won't really do anything until spring, so don't go out there and prune anything just yet. But watch for new growth. One thing you can do is called the scratch test, and that's where you take a limb and you just take it and scratch it. And just if there's any green on there, it's still alive. If it's brown, you can prune it out. But wait until we start getting some new foliage come out, and then you can prune that dead stuff out.
Do we need to prepare mentally to cover and group things together again? Because we've been cold for a while now, seems like.
Yeah, and thankfully we're getting a little bit of warm snap here. So, it's going to get cold again. So, just prepare. Water your plants is probably the most important thing you could do. And if you have questions, you can always go to our website, aces.edu, aces.edu, or also you can reach out to your local home grounds agent, and we'd be glad to help you.
All right, Brian, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.
Thank you.